All right, so did open lower in the pre-market. I was expecting this move at the open, this big move to the upside, which we see happens before the open. So a little disappointing there. But with that said, it's also kind of like something that I no longer need to worry about because my expectation was that at the open we would decline and I'd want to get out before this big move to the upside. Big move to the upside's already happened. There should be three pokes through the same trend line, usually horizontal, followed by a sharp decline here in the first half hour into a trough there between 10 and 11, and then out of that, another big move to the upside. So, what I'm looking for is that move into the trough here in this first half hour, and I'll switch from my puts to my calls. Whether or not the puts are profitable is besides the point. I want to be in calls going into the end of the day. And what I'll do is on on Friday, I should say, I'll be closing those right about here, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10:30, somewhere around there. And then this yellow translucent outline indicates a decline of some kind increasing with momentum. So we should see this decline off of a third poke into this trough about 10:30 probably. Yeah, see what's really interesting about the March reading is that we've got a really strong cross-reading congruency here that involves the unicursal hexagram. The disappointment card behind it, which it relates to in this reading, is the high card, I believe. Let me just double check. The high card of the 2024 reading. Hermes. Yeah. Right here, we've got the disappointment card as the high correlator. We also have indications of some sort of high here in March, and then there should be a higher one here in April after a trough. So we go from like a highest high to a trough, like to probably a lowest low, and then into an even higher high there. And I don't think it's April as much as it'll be May that we see the higher high. Hey, TT. Well, my eye is so itchy. I don't know. I should take an allergy pill or something. I'll be right back. Hey, Proof. Will Bitcoin fall below 52K in early March? Probably not early March. I think it'll probably fall below 52 when it goes on its way into that trough that we're talking about on the 1 year chart scale that takes place in April. We should go well below 52. But in early March, I don't think we do. Well, I'll say that is aggravating. We had this big jump there, but I do expect at least a little bit of a drop here in this first half hour. Interesting. March SPY is the disappointment card as well for disappointment for Bitcoin, disappointment for SPY, both at the high in March. Interesting. Very interesting. Looks like we probably have a pretty bullish expectation going into the high, and it just doesn't pan out. That's for Bitcoin and SPY. About the theta drop in March mid-month, do I see a low being settled or set in theta in mid-March, or do I feel it will be a much lower in April? Actually, I have an April 1 month for theta. Somebody ordered, so the public version of that will be coming out relatively soon, like next few days. We're a little behind, just a few days behind here on releases. Oops. No, there's definitely lower prices in 2024 for Theta than what we'll see in March. Overall, it's a bearish year for Theta, but at a low, we have this big move that carries into 2025. Should be a pretty significant move to the upside. But no, I don't believe the March low is the bottom for 2024. The only thing that I think kind of like could throw off a little bit with this SPY 29th reading is this little angel here. Usually when you see the angel in a position like this, it's indicating that there'll be a lower price level than whatever low this indicates. So we might see one at the very end of the day, but I find that unlikely. I don't think we're being thrown off. It's possible we could be. I mean, it happens sometimes. But I think we're probably on point here. What happened to my February line? Are you talking, Hermes? Here, you want to go on to bed? Hey, Sudeep sir, welcome. So we're coming up on kind of like the timing where I would expect to see this trough. So what I might suggest is opening up a partial long here, just in case we don't see that drop. And if we start to move to the upside, I just get out of those shorts for a loss. Happens sometimes, but hold the longs because the longs should be super profitable by tomorrow. That was a pretty crappy loss, but it happens occasionally. We'll make it back. Um, I just took it. I took the loss. Um, and I'm expecting bullish behavior here, guys. Sidewaysy bullish. And I'm gonna laugh when this thing declines right here. we're still technically in like the three pokes, but it's really sidewaysy, so hard to determine exactly. I think this is one here, this is one here, this is probably one here, and there should be a drop off of the third one. In the midst of the drop, that's where I would be opening up a little bit of a long position in anticipation of this move higher towards the end of the day, and then overnight, this big move to the upside. That's correct. We do see higher prices for Theta in May, Terry Tees. Proof, are you looking to get into a long position in Bitcoin? Because you don't want to enter. You're trying to enter too soon, my man. The bottom for Bitcoin is in April. Based on the 1 months. Right, we go from a high. We go from a high in the beginning of March into an important trough on a 1 year chart scale here in April. This is where you want to get into Bitcoin around the 21st, 22nd of April. Hey Hamza, does Sui break its previous high in March? It doesn't look like it does so in March. It might break it in April. It'll either be the same, roughly the same. It's probably going to be roughly the same, but it might break it in like the end of April. It's possible. What month do I see the year's high for Sui? Probably the end of the year. But there's April, it's probably the same high. All right, my friends, I'm going to roll. I'll be back on between 3 and 4 today. Thank you all for joining me in the morning session. So what I'm looking to do right now is I exited my short for a loss. It happens occasionally. And what I'm looking to do, I'm looking for a good entry into a long position that I want to close tomorrow. And it's getting kind of to the point where I might just hop in because we're at 10 o'clock here. There may be a trough in a few minutes, but we've really just gone sideways with very little decline as expected. So I think I'll probably get into a long position, at least a partial. I bought a partial long at the money puts. Excuse me, at the money calls. But with that said, guys, I'm going to roll. I'll see you guys back around 3 o'clock.